So the sequel to Bloodstained, A Ritual of the Night got a trailer. It's called Bloodstained, The Scarlet Engagement. They're aiming for a 2026 release. And earlier this week, we got a very interesting interview. It features Iga, the producer, and Shutaro, aka Curry the Kid, who is the creative director and an all-around Metroidvania legend. This has got some juicy info about the game, so today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that grabbed my attention. Now, this interview was done for Epic Games, and if you want to check this out for yourself, I'll have a link pinned in the comments. First, and I think this is the real headline, Scarlet Engagement will include a job system. You can choose from over 10 different classes and level up each one as you play. By leveling up, you can learn new skills and abilities. Additionally, some magic and skills can only be learned in specific classes. Skills learned in one class can be carried over to other classes if certain conditions are met. For example, you might start by mastering the fighter class and then learn the ninja class later. Skills you acquired as a fighter can also be used when playing as a ninja. Yeah, basically Bloodstained 2 is going to be a Final Fantasy V Metroidvania. This is an amazing idea, and as far as I know, it's a genre first. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of action platformers have classes to choose from. You could point to a game like The Last Faith, or even Circle of the Moon with its unlockable classes, but I've never come across a true Metroidvania job system hybrid. And it seems like it'll be a perfect fit. These Igavania games pride themselves on complexity and replay value. Just think about how much this will add to a first playthrough, let alone a follow-up playthrough, or speedruns, or randomizers if that feature makes a return, fingers crossed. This could be a game changer. Next up, let's talk about the structure of the game. According to Curry the Kid, players can switch between the two characters at any time. Even during solo play, you can have your buddy cast spells or perform combo attacks on command. For example, if you're controlling Leo and Alex is controlled by AI, you can still instruct Alex on when to use spells. So everyone kind of got this vibe from the initial reveal trailer, but this more or less confirms it. Bloodstained Scarlet Engagement will be a spiritual successor to Portrait of Ruin. Obviously, Portrait of Ruin, one of the most beloved and most unique Castlevania games, so it is going to be great having this concept revitalized for the Bloodstained sequel. But on the subject of structure, something else in this interview caught my attention. Question, from a developer's perspective, what are some of the key points you focused on to keep the game feeling fresh and engaging? And Shutaro responds, in Bloodstained The Scarlet Engagement, we focus heavily on the story in the first half, but as players progress into the latter half, they're given much more freedom. Most likely this just means the start of the castle is more linear, and it gradually opens up, but what if, and this is wild speculation on my part, please take it with a grain of salt, but wouldn't it be interesting if Scarlet was inspired by Order of Ecclesia as well as Portrait of Ruin? You know, maybe you start the game with a world map and a level structure, you go stage by stage, which is a great way to introduce the plot and the characters and the core gameplay mechanics, and then eventually you reach the castle and you're given a bunch of paths to choose from. Again, wild speculation, my evidence for this is that it came to me in a vision, but I think a Portrait Ecclesia hybrid could really work. Anyway, what's not speculation and is 100% confirmed is the return of furniture. That's right, the spirit of Juste Belmont lives on, in the anime and in the Bloodstained sequel. Quotes, the base itself is a much larger area beyond just the save room. Within it, you'll have your own room that you can decorate with furniture. Apparently there are several ways to obtain furniture. You can buy it, craft it, or find it lying around, and once you get some, it's time to do some interior decorating. I think everyone agrees this is one of the most memorable side quests in Igavania history. So nice to have it back. The last thing I'd like to mention is tangentially related to the Saga series, which I never get a chance to talk about on this channel, so please indulge me. Question, could you please explain the Epiphany combat system? Shutaro, this is a system where you can be inspired with new skills during battle by meeting certain conditions. For example, if you're using a specific weapon and your stats are above a certain threshold, attacking an enemy under those conditions might trigger a moment of inspiration, allowing your character to learn a new technique on the spot, which can then be used freely from that point onward. This sounds an awful lot like the Glimmer system from Saga, doesn't it? Meet certain requirements, get lucky, get a new move. I'm not sure how this will work out for a Metroidvania, but it's definitely intriguing, and I'm hopeful we learn more soon. So yeah, after reading this interview, my hype levels are off the charts. It's gonna be tough staying patient until 2026, and let's be honest, probably late 2026. But it sounds like it will be very much worth the wait. Wouldn't it be funny if this game came out before Silksong?